or months, astronomers have been observing a silent traveler gliding through our solar system, an interstellar guest unlike anything we have seen before, known as 3I Atlas. It came from beyond the boundaries of the Milky Way, crossing the cold and infinite abyss of interstellar space. But just as the world prepared to say goodbye to this mysterious object, something unprecedented happened. As 3I Atlas moved toward its closest approach to the Sun, telescopes around the world captured an anomaly so strange that even the most skeptical scientists were left speechless. Its light changed, its structure shifted, and then it did something never observed in any natural object. Today we investigate what the James Webb Space Telescope, Hubble, and ground-based observatories have just witnessed, and why one of Harvard's most renowned astrophysicists says this anomaly could mark the most significant discovery in modern astronomy. It all began when a Spanish 2-meter twin telescope took 159 exposures of 3I Atlas as it approached solar conjunction, the moment it would pass behind the Sun from Earth's perspective. What these images revealed was nothing short of impossible, a thin jet of material shooting directly toward the Sun. Every comet we have studied ejects dust and gas that the solar wind pushes away from the star, forming a tail always pointing outward. But this tail was reverse, an anti-tail, as if the object was rejecting the Sun's influence rather than obeying it. The discovery was quickly confirmed by both the Hubble Space Telescope and a Hawaiian observatory, which detected a diffuse glow extending toward the Sun, not away from it. For a comet, such behavior is physically absurd. It is the equivalent of smoke flowing against the wind. The anomaly didn't just defy expectation, it defied the laws of solar physics. Some researchers suggested the material might be resistant to radiation pressure. Perhaps it consists of unknown elements or alloys that react differently to solar photons. Others proposed something even more radical, that the tail wasn't natural at all, but an ejection or exhaust from a controlled mechanism within the object itself. As new data arrived, astronomers realized this was an unusual cometary body. The mass and gravity readings of 3I Atlas didn't match. According to its trajectory, the object should have weighed much more than its observed motion suggested. Simply put, it moved as if it were lighter than it looked. Even more puzzling was that it rotated unusually slowly, completing one full rotation every 16 hours, which under normal conditions would cause structural instability in a typical rocky or icy body. Yet 3I Atlas remained perfectly intact. Theories began to crumble one by one. Some experts suggested it might be hollow, an idea supported by subtle fluctuations in its reflective brightness. If true, it means we are observing not a solid rock, but a shell, possibly metallic, drifting through space. Its nickel and iron content, measured via spectral analysis, was significantly higher than any comet or asteroid in our solar system. Combined with traces of cyanide compounds, rare even in interstellar dust, this composition pointed to something far beyond natural formation. When these results emerged, a debate erupted in the scientific community. Could 3I Atlas be artificial, or was it an entirely new category of interstellar object created by physics we haven't yet discovered? To make sense of the mounting chaos, an astrophysicist and his research group introduced something unprecedented, the ET probability scale. Inspired by the Torino scale used to assess asteroid threats, this ranking system classifies interstellar visitors from level 0 to level 10 based on the number and severity of unexplained anomalies. Level 0 corresponds to completely natural objects like Comet Borisov, while level 10 would represent confirmed extraterrestrial technology with global implications. He placed 3I Atlas at level 4, describing it as an object with multiple sustained anomalies and no satisfactory natural explanation after thorough analysis. According to the model, this places it in the zone of potential technosignatures. In other words, a 40% chance that its origin might be unnatural. This number sent shockwaves through both the scientific community and social media. Although most astronomers dismissed it as speculation, past predictions regarding Oumuamua, another interstellar enigma, suddenly gained new credibility. If 3I Atlas is truly behaving as the data shows, we might be observing the second confirmed visitor from outside our galaxy, and possibly the first created rather than born. Just as interest peaked, 3I Atlas vanished, not destroyed but hidden. As it entered solar conjunction, the object aligned perfectly with the Sun from Earth's perspective, rendering itself invisible to telescopes for several weeks. It felt as though the universe had lowered a curtain on the most mysterious performance in modern astronomy. During this period, observatories fell silent, awaiting its reappearance. Funding delays and data embargoes left the public with nothing but speculation. Meanwhile, simulations showed that as soon as it emerged from behind the Sun, 3I Atlas would head directly toward Jupiter's orbital path, an eerie coincidence that simultaneously thrills and worries astronomers. The predicted trajectory won't cause a collision, but it will bring the object alarmingly close to several probes, including a European mission and a United States probe, both of which might pass through its ion tail. If this happens, we could finally collect direct samples of its mysterious material or discover something far stranger. Some scientists believe the anti-correlated ejection might reactivate during this phase, producing electromagnetic signatures we've never seen before. Others fear the opposite, that once behind the Sun, 3I Atlas could completely change course. If that happens, it won't just rewrite physics, it will redefine what we believe about intelligence beyond Earth. After nearly 6 weeks of silence, the moment the world was waiting for finally arrived. When 3I Atlas emerged from behind the Sun, dozens of telescopes across Earth, the Moon, and in orbit fixed their gaze on the coordinates predicted months earlier. But what they saw defied everyone's expectations. Instead of fading like most comets after perihelion, 3I Atlas was brighter. Much brighter. In fact, its albedo, a measure of the light it reflects, increased by nearly 400%. Its apparent magnitude soared beyond all models, meaning it was somehow reflecting far more sunlight than its surface area should allow. Infrared readings showed something even stranger. Its temperature hadn't risen. It stabilized even as it moved away from the Sun. Something inside it was regulating its heat, emitting and absorbing energy in perfectly balanced cycles. Then came the weirdest part. The anti-correlated ejection that once pointed at the Sun had disappeared. In its place was a thin, pulsating beam of weak ultraviolet radiation extending sideways into deep space, steady and rhythmic like a cosmic heartbeat. To observers, it seemed intentional, controlled. Observatories around the world began recording every pulse. The pattern wasn't random. It repeated exactly every 247 seconds, as if the object had started broadcasting something. Within days, scientists using data from the European Southern Observatory and MIT began decoding the ultraviolet pulses. At first, they seemed meaningless, a repetitive flash of radiation fluctuating between two intensities. But after filtering with frequency compression algorithms, one analyst noticed a striking pattern. The pulses corresponded to prime numbers, a universal signature often proposed in SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, research as the simplest way an intelligent civilization might establish contact. First 2, then 3, then 5, then 7, then 11. The sequence continued for hours before resetting. The odds of a prime number sequence arising naturally from radiation fluctuations are astronomically low, practically zero. Yet 3I Atlas was emitting it with precision. This revelation divided the global scientific community. Caution was urged, calling it random modulation due to rotational dynamics. His team from Harvard University disagreed. He publicly stated that this was no longer an astronomical event, it was a message. Soon, small observatories from Japan to Chile independently confirmed the data. Whatever 3I Atlas was, it wasn't acting like debris or even a passive body. It was behaving like a system, a machine executing a coded protocol in response to solar interaction, and it had only just begun transmitting again. To investigate further, the James Webb Space Telescope was reoriented toward 3I Atlas, its instruments calibrated for hyperspectral imaging. What it captured sent shockwaves through every scientific institution. Beneath the object's reflective surface, Webb detected a geometric structure, a lattice framework running under its crust composed of repeating hexagonal plates aligned with its rotational axis. This wasn't random, wasn't eroded, wasn't natural. Each plate had exactly the same dimensions, reflecting light at mathematically perfect intervals. Webb's analysis showed the structure consisted of a highly conductive nickel-titanium alloy with an atomic frequency higher than anything found in nature. Simply put, 3I Atlas wasn't just unusual, it was engineered. The discovery was quietly confirmed by spectroscopic data from an instrument that revealed controlled polarization shifts, as if the object's outer layer was adjusting in real time to minimize glare. This wasn't a rock. It was something built to hide, adapt, and survive an interstellar journey. But if it truly was a ship, the question haunting scientists worldwide was simple: where was the pilot? On the night of its reappearance, something unprecedented occurred. Without warning, the rhythmic ultraviolet pulses stopped. For 12 full hours, 3I Atlas was dark, completely inert. Then, at exactly 21:10:07 UTC, the object suddenly made a measurable adjustment to its velocity vector. It wasn't a deflection from radiation or gravitational pull, it was a course correction. Its trajectory shifted by 0.9 degrees, a tiny angle, but one no natural body could achieve without external thrust. The maneuver sent it directly on a new path away from Jupiter's orbit and toward the outer solar system, accelerating at 14 ms squared, far beyond the capability of any known cometary outgassing. Observatories rushed to recalculate projections. The new route would take it to the heliopause, the boundary between our solar system and interstellar space, but not randomly. Its exit trajectory aligned almost perfectly with the coordinates of its original incoming path, as if it were returning home before disappearing into the deep again. 3I Atlas emitted one final ultraviolet pulse. This time, it wasn't a sequence. It was one steady beam lasting exactly 13 minutes and 37 seconds, long enough to be recorded, analyzed, and archived. Its spectrum carried something that changed everything: a weak encoded signature resembling structured binary information. For the first time in history, an interstellar object may have not only visited our solar system but answered. For days, scientists worldwide analyzed the last ultraviolet transmission from 3I Atlas. At first it seemed like static, random fluctuations buried in a sea of cosmic noise. But when a research team from the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics applied a transformation to isolate frequency harmonics, the noise began to take shape. It wasn't random. The beam contained a structure, a pattern of binary modulations too precise to be natural. The sequence repeated every 13 minutes and 37 seconds, the exact duration of the original pulse, as if time itself was encoded in the message. The data didn't transmit information outward, it reflected it, a mirror signal designed to respond to the electromagnetic signature of the instruments observing it. In other words, 3I Atlas wasn't just sending, it was listening. When the message was visually reconstructed, what appeared on the screen silenced the entire lab, a three-dimensional fractal structure, layers of repeating hexagons forming a perfect spiral identical to the internal lattice the James Webb Telescope saw beneath the object's surface. Embedded within this fractal was a mathematical ratio, 1.618, the golden ratio, the constant of natural growth found everywhere from nautilus shells to spiral galaxies. To biologists, it looked like a pattern of cellular replication. To physicists, it looked like an equation for gravitational symmetry. To some, it looked like a signature, the universe's own handwriting encoded in geometry, now written back to us through the stars. Governments tried to hide the data, but the signal had already gone public. Independent observatories confirmed that faint echoes of the same pulse were detected on multiple solar wind frequencies. It was as if the transmission echoed in space itself, imprinted on the fabric of our heliosphere. Every time scientists tried to reproduce the data, the structure changed slightly, as if it were evolving, adapting, reacting to human interference. One researcher described it best, as if it knows it's being watched. Shortly after, his ET probability scale was updated again. For the first time, he assigned the object level 9, one step below confirmed extraterrestrial technology. In his report, he wrote, 3I Atlas demonstrated controlled thrust, directed emission, and now informational symmetry. The probability that this is natural is indistinguishable from zero. His conclusion was simple but devastating. 3I Atlas might not have been an artifact of alien design, but a messenger, a vessel carrying the signature of an intelligence older than any civilization we can imagine. Then on the morning of September 21st, something strange happened. All monitoring stations tracking 3I Atlas's fading trajectory detected a simultaneous spike of noise in the cosmic microwave background. the faint echo of the Big Bang itself. The signal had the same frequency ratio as the last pulse. For a split second, the background of the universe answered, and just as suddenly vanished. The object disappeared beyond the heliopause, leaving behind only data, a code no one has deciphered yet, but which scientists agree contained intent. 3I Atlas didn't just visit our solar system, it left a mark. Proof that the universe isn't silent, that intelligence doesn't belong only to us, and that the stars might be much more alive than we ever dared to believe. As one astronomer wrote in the final line of his report, perhaps we were never meant to find it, perhaps it found us. So if this story made you wonder what is truly out there, don't look away. Subscribe. We reveal the truth space agencies won't tell you. Turn on notifications, because when 3I Atlas sends its next signal, you'll want to be here.